Got the breeze off of the lake, the sun is shining. It is a good day, a beautiful day here in Ajijic, Mexico. Even if you're not quite sure how to pronounce it, you've probably seen Ajijic on the lists of the best places to live in Mexico. Situated on Lago de Chapala, Mexico's largest lake, this charming little town is less than an hour's drive from Guadalajara, perfect for our final trip of 2023. The area is popular with foreigners, especially people moving to Mexico from the US and Canada. Speaking of moving to Mexico, while I take you around the town, I'll be sharing what I wish I'd known before moving to Mexico. I know it sounds so silly now, but I wish I would have known just how big Mexico is. I think Taylor and I really lucked out landing in Querétaro when we moved to Mexico back in 2017. But if I had it to do all over again, if I would have had more money when we first moved down here, I definitely would have spent some time traveling around Mexico, especially after moving to Guadalajara this past year. Sometimes it just gets me. I'm like, why didn't we visit this city sooner? Not only is Mexico big in terms of land mass, it's the 13th largest country in the world by area, but Mexico is also incredibly diverse. Just in the state of Jalisco, you can find small-town charm in Ajijic, then less than an hour's drive away, you've got big city living in Guadalajara. If you do get the chance to travel around before you pick your city in Mexico, pick your new home in Mexico, then I would definitely recommend doing that. Don't conflate different and bad. Perhaps the biggest mistake you can make when you move to Mexico is to constantly compare the way things are done here to the way they're done back in your home country. I wish I'd known that doing so only serves to work you up, and in some cases, it can kind of make you look like a jerk. It's fine to have preferences. It's fine to miss the way some things are done in your home country. I, for one, miss paying my rent via direct deposit. But rather than writing something off as bad, remember that different is just different. I'm very anxious to show you around our adorable Airbnb here in Ajijic. I think this might be one of my favorite Airbnbs that I've ever stayed in Mexico. It is just, you've got to see it. But first, here is something that I really wish I would have known, I really wish I would have thought about before moving to Mexico. A mistake that I see a lot of language learners make, a mistake that I made myself, is that they spend way too much time, I spent way too much time just reading and listening when I first started learning Spanish, and oh my gosh, if I had it to do all over again, I would have spent way more time speaking. Lingoda is an online language school with a curriculum that puts a real emphasis on speaking. The small group classes are really small, like 3 to 5 students max, and the native level teachers really make the effort to draw you out and make sure that whatever level you are, even total beginners, they really draw you out and ensure that you are practicing speaking in each and every class. Each Lingoda class runs for 60 minutes and all the classes are held via Zoom. Lessons are 24/7, so take classes when it works best for you. Book a lesson before work one day and during your lunch break the next. Starting in January, Lingoda is challenging you to their famous language sprint challenge. When I talk about hitting the ground running when you get to Mexico, being able to find an apartment, being able to find friends, this kind of challenge, the Lingoda Sprint Challenge, is what is going to put you in a position to do that. If you sign up using the link below or use the voucher ALEX2023, you can get $25 off the initial deposit for your Language Sprint Challenge. That's in addition to the on-page discount of up to 30%. Don't forget to check out Lingoda's FAQ section and be sure to read the terms and conditions before signing up. The more Spanish you know, the easier it's going to be to settle into life here. You are going to find your place faster. You are going to feel at home so much quicker. Time for the Airbnb tour. I wish I would have known that furnishing an apartment can be affordable. When I moved to Mexico, I stressed myself out trying to find a furnished apartment to rent in Querétaro. In the end, we signed on an unfurnished place because it was in a location that we loved, but I was nervous to say the least. The day that we moved into the apartment with just our 2 suitcases and 2 backpacks, I was worried that I'd made a mistake. We were in a huge empty house and didn't even have a mattress to sleep on. The task at hand felt monumental. I wish I would have known that between Amazon Mexico, secondhand stores, Facebook Marketplace, and the actual market, furnishing an apartment in Mexico is easy to do on a budget. I wouldn't have wasted my time looking at apartments in undesirable locations just because they had a ratty old sofa in the living room. Seriously, one of the most interestingly decorated Airbnbs I've ever stayed in. Like, just check out this entry wall. We got down here to Chapala and it pretty much immediately started raining as soon as we got here on the Malecon, but people are still out having a ton of fun. People walking around with drinks, there's snacks, there's lots of music. We saw some, what are they called? The voladores getting ready to do their little routine here on the boardwalk. There are mariachis, there are little ponies, there's a bunch of souvenirs for sale. A lot more lively, just kind of an all-around different vibe than the Malecon over in Ajijic. Getting rain on my glasses. When we moved to Querétaro back in 2017, I didn't really think a whole bunch about the trips to and from the US. I was probably just way too excited about our move to Mexico. And while that bus ride from Mexico City to Querétaro didn't seem like that much to start, it was really a lot to deal with after a while. At first, I actually thought the 3-hour bus ride from the CDMX airport to Querétaro was convenient. And maybe it would have been if we'd only been doing it once or twice a year, but I wish I would have thought harder about how often we'd be making that trip. One summer, we did it multiple times for friends' weddings. Proximity to an airport is certainly part of the appeal in living in either Chapala or Ajijic. The drive from here to the Guadalajara International Airport is right around 40 minutes, and depending on where you call home in the US, there might be a direct flight. I wish I would have known that the financial requirements for residency increase annually. There are several different ways to qualify for a Mexico residency visa, but the most common is showing economic solvency. Basically, the Mexican government wants to see that you can support yourself and then some while living in Mexico. Every year, Mexican consulates recalculate their financial requirements based on Mexico's minimum daily wage. I was fortunate that I was able to demonstrate economic solvency when I applied for temporary residency back in 2021. But if I'd known the financial requirements increased annually, I would have applied sooner just to be safe. The past 2 years, the financial requirements for a Mexico residency visa have increased significantly. In an upcoming video, I interview Ivan Pavan, an immigration advisor, about what changes to expect for the residency process in 2024. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss that upload. In the meantime, check out this video next. It's a step-by-step guide for how to move to Mexico. The 11-point checklist breaks down the most important tasks standing between you and your dream life in Mexico. I'm Alex from backpackingbrunette.com. Thanks for watching.